Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today we're going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors potentially trading for Jimmy Butler. As it's been reported that the Golden State Warriors have interest in trading for Jimmy Butler, I really don't see how this potential trade gets done. I don't see this trade happening at all. But the Warriors want to potentially add in a star this offseason. They have some assets to move. They've been interested in. It's been reported they have interest in Jimmy Butler. They could have interest in Kevin Durant or LeBron James. But I really see it unlikely that a deal like this happens with the Miami Heat, because the Heat don't want to move Jimmy Butler. And look, I think some of the best assets that the Warriors have to give up, they don't want to give up. They have assets like Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, and Kevon Looney, maybe even Gary Payton II that they want to move in these potential trades and draft picks, right? But when trading for a big star, the other team's going to be looking at their young players like Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski. I think those are the players that you're going to see a Phoenix Suns or Miami Heat team want in a potential trade for a guy like Kevin Durant or Jimmy Butler. Yes, Jimmy Butler's a little bit older now, and he has only 2 years left on his deal, but Jimmy Butler's still a great player. He's a big impact player. And look, honestly, I think you add in Jimmy Butler into this team with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson if he resigns, and also Draymond Green, and maybe if they can sign a decent center. This Golden State Warriors team, I think, is, a championship contender again, because Jimmy Butler is amazing in the playoffs. He has been fantastic when playing in the postseason. Obviously, we know Steph plays good in the postseason, but Steph can't really do much in the postseason when he is the only one that's playing good, and it's just him. But if he had a guy like Jimmy Butler playing next to him in the postseason, he'd absolutely thrive. Obviously, it's not going to make him play better. Maybe. We'll see if these two guys play together. But it's not going to make him play better, but it's going to make the team play better. Because you can't... Look, the Warriors, with the team they have now, cannot have success. Absolutely cannot have success, which is Steph. I'm sorry. Steph is getting older. Look, Steph was not a great team in the 21-22 season. With how good he played, they were able to win an NBA championship. Look, I know that Warriors team had some solid players. Andrew Wiggins was playing great basketball, was playing great defense. Jordan Poole was playing great. He was shooting great. Klay Thompson wasn't playing as bad as he's playing now. Draymond was playing good. But honestly, I think you put the current Stephen Curry in with the team that he's facing, with the team. I'm sorry, if you put the current Stephen Curry, the Stephen Curry that we just saw this season, you put him in with that 2021-22 Golden State Warriors team, they're still a good team, but I don't see them winning an NBA championship. Steph was absolutely amazing this year. It's not like this year he wasn't. He has turned it into a little bit more inefficient than he's been in a while. Very, very inefficient this year. One game he'll go and score 15 points, and the next game he'll have a 30-plus performance. Very inefficient for Stephen Curry this year, and it's really hard when you're playing with such a bad team, in my opinion. But I don't see the Warriors winning a championship in the 21-22 season if you put this Stephen Curry with that Golden State Warriors team. I'm saying that Stephen Curry was such a huge part of winning a championship when they did in the 21-22 season. I think they lose to a Boston Celtics team in the NBA Finals if you have this year's Stephen Curry on that team. That's how good Steph was. I'm saying that's how good Steph was that season. He absolutely... I know they had some good performances from Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins. Klay didn't do bad, but Steph carried them in that postseason, and he carried them in the finals. They had a good team around them, but Steph was a huge part, the main part. But if you put, with Steph, as he's gotten a little bit older, a little bit inefficient, and really with the current team he has, can't really win anything. Even though how good he is, he can't win anything. Because teams are doubling him, and I noticed it a lot. Teams are doubling him and trapping him more than I've ever seen. Because teams know there's not really any big threats outside of Steph. So there are a lot of, I noticed it, there were a lot of double teams and and traps for Stephen Curry, which, made it harder for him to score the basketball this past season. But if you put a Jimmy Butler next to him, they're better in the postseason. Steph's probably more efficient because you got to focus defensively. You can't just, yes, you can double Steph, you can trap Steph, but you got to focus on Jimmy Butler too. It's another guy you might want to have to double or trap. So with that being said, I think things would be a lot easier on Stephen Curry if you had a Jimmy Butler next to him. And maybe Clay would be better as well. Not having to be that second star, not having to be the second best player. I think if you re-sign Clay and you trade for Jimmy Butler, which I see it being highly unlikely, but if that happens, I think a lot of pressure would be, taken off of Klay Thompson. But let's talk about what this potential trade looks like, because I really see this not happening. This is, what I've seen other people say you'd have to give up, and I think this is common knowledge. Just because of money, looking at the money, Jimmy Butler has a $48.7 million contract. So the Warriors can't really afford to, they gotta match that number in a trade, to stay in the cap, right? So with that being said, you have to trade one of your big contracts, whether it's Andrew Wiggins and Chris Paul. The Heat already have Terry Rozier. They're not going to want Chris Paul. So that means you're going to have to give up Andrew Wiggins, right? You have to give up Andrew Wiggins. That's the first thing. And then you have to give up Kevon Looney. I don't think they really care about that. I think they already want to get rid of him. But then this is where, it gets the hard part. This is what the Miami Heat's going to want, because they don't want to trade him. So this is what they're going to want. I know it. They're going to want Jonathan Kuminga, and they're going to want Brandon Podziemski. Jonathan Kuminga only has 1 year left on his deal. So, would it be terrible for Golden State to let go of him? Obviously, he probably sign a big extension, but there's no guarantee that Jonathan Kuminga, with how his career's gone so far, he's been such a great player, but the Warriors can't decide if they want to bring him to the next level and start him or send him back to the bench. So with that being said, if you want to win, if you want Steph to win and you want to be more successful, win your 5th NBA championship and not stay mediocre, maybe trading Jonathan Kuminga is the best thing to do. And then Brandon Podziemski as well, who, I really love. But at the same time, this is only potentially, obviously that can change. Obviously they can re-sign him. Obviously they can extend him. But you're looking only at potentially 2 years of Jimmy Butler. And, if this was a Warriors team that had a younger Steph and a younger Clay, and, they didn't have, a Klay Thompson who was about to potentially leave them in free agency or retire, or Stephen Curry who only has a couple of years left, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years left. Draymond Green, who I don't think has much time left. I think he probably has 2 to 3 years left at the max. I think I've watched him on TV. I think he has a great NBA TV career, and I think he's gonna love doing that. So I don't see him playing much longer either. I think probably 2 more seasons for Draymond Green. So with not a lot of time left for those guys, really I think those are the 2 guys, Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski, who are the Warriors' future. Maybe even Moses Moody as well, who the Warriors' future. If those 3 guys, the Splash Bros and Draymond are gone, are you willing to give up those 2 guys for Jimmy Butler and maybe a championship? Let me know your thoughts though. But I think the full trade would be, this is what I have. Jimmy Butler and Orlando Robinson to the Golden State Warriors. That does get you a center, not a great one though. And to the Miami Heat, Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, pick number 53 in this year's draft, and a 2026 second-round pick that belongs to the Atlanta Hawks. Obviously, this wouldn't be a great trade for the Warriors, but if they want Jimmy Butler, they want to take the next level, they don't want to just stick to mediocre, then potentially this is the trade you might have to make. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.